Welcome back, guys. Elodin and Cowboy Dan, CALLOUS Invitational 3, Round 1 action. Reminder, description. CALLOUS Invitational 3 Discord server and official thread can be found there. We are accepting donations as well. Hit me up on Discord if you would like to support this tournament. No amount is too small. Anything will do. It supports me, it supports the tournament, it directly boosts the prize payout of this tournament, makes it that much bigger and more hype. Definitely, if you want to give us a little bit of cash money, only if you can, only if you can support yourself and not be not paying your rent and all that good stuff by helping us out, we would really appreciate that. Alrighty, back to the action. Dan got kind of smacked around in Game 1, and it's now going to be on him to rattle off this game and a third game to avoid falling into the lower bracket very early on in this tournament. Elodin on the bottom again with a lead Snorlax. It's going to be a Metagross, and Dan is not off to a good start. Terrible turn 1 as he misses Meteor Mash and gets crit with Earthquake. Dan is already down in this game after dropping the first game. And when he brings Breloom, he's against double flying Intimidator. This just seems like a nightmare scenario for little Johnny Jewel. That's Cowboy Dan. T-Tar coming into Lax now. It's going to curse. But man, what a bad start that is for Dan. Elodin's in great shape, even though he's got crap like Thunderwave Tyranitar. It's going to work. I mean, there's full para. And now he's going to crunch and get another full para. This is really not going Dan's way early on. Crunch and a Specs drop and a third full para in a row. Jesus, Dan is not catching any breaks. Crunch, another Specs drop. And finally, Lax gets to actually do stuff, which is self-destruct. So it negates a lot of that hacks and simply results in a trade. But nevertheless, a lot of bad things going against Dan in that sequence. All right, so that's going to leave us with T-Tar on Salamence now. The Mence is paralyzed. That certainly helps. Rock Slide connecting on Swampert here. Resisted, of course. And now a Hydro Pump is going to come down. It's going to do 52% to Zapdos, who could threaten back with Hidden Power Grass. So Elodin respects that possibility. And Dan actually just goes for Thunderbolt into the Swampert. Has the courage to do that, and it works out. Thunderbolts again here. Gets a para. But he's body slammed in return for his life. And Elodin furthers his lead 5-3 now as T-Tar comes in. Rock Slide, great chance of para or flinch, does get the full para, and follows up with an Earthquake for a knockout. That's pretty good. HP Grass critical hit. Now Dan getting some crucial luck his way. All of a sudden, Dan is right back in this game. It's a 3-3 situation now. Last poke for Dan is Salamence. He gets Intimidate off, comes in for free on Earthquake. Find out if he's gaining lefties. He is. Gyarados comes in. That gets Intimidate off, but it's still napping from before. Dragon Dance negates Intimidate, but gets a speed boost. Opposing Mence comes in, which intimidates again. And it's still going to take a decent chunk from Rock Slide here. So Dan is at -1 attack, +1 speed. Make that simply +2 speed as he Dragon Dances here. He's on the bad end of a Rock Slide, but he's way faster here with the double speed boost and the para going on. He can outrun the thing like 8 times over. And he goes Rock Slide now into the last poke, previously unrevealed Magneton for Elodin. Salamence comes in. And Dan falls for it. He does go straight EQ into Mag. That's going to be blanked by Salamence, again getting Intimidate off. He goes Rock Slide, comes up short, and he does not get the Para Flinch. Dan will lose his Salamence thanks to some nice maneuvering for Elodin. That being said, this T-Tar is still definitely a problem. Rock Slide Earthquake seems like a real vulnerability for Elodin's team, especially considering that Gyarados is asleep still. It could wake at any time, but the sleep definitely matters in this moment. 2 Intimidates on this T-Tar. Rock Slide obviously the play, given what is in play for Elodin, and he's down to last poke Gyarados here. Still asleep. Rock Slide with 3 Intimidates rather is still going to do 39%. Gyarados still doesn't want to wake, however, and T-Tyra's going to Dragon Dance up, so he's at -2 +1. Rock Slide still not good enough. Gyro wakes up now, but he's going to flinch, so pending a Rock Slide miss, this game is over. Rock Slide does not miss, Hidden Power does not kill, but the Sand will, and that is going to be good enough. Cowboy Dan avoids being 0-2 knocked out by Elodin, and by knocked out I mean knocked down to the lower bracket, not out of the tournament, of course, since this is round 1, and he's going to send us to a Game 3. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and that third game will, of course, be coming up next.